most of the people doing evil in the world today, don't you hear some of their names? They bear Christian names. That means they have received the life of God. But the pastor kept blessing them without teaching them how to fight to win the war over sin. And so now, the money they got, the fame they got, the opportunities they got, they became the agents that Satan used to architect a dark civilization. So Satan is not even needing to send more demons to the earth. He has enough agents on the earth. You'll find Christians, even in church, people who say they are born again, you look at them, these are agents of seduction. The whole breast is outside, the whole lap is outside, they sit in church and they are acting as if they are covering their legs. Because there is an interaction she had with the mirror. There is a lust in her that is telling her she's beautiful when her breast is exposed. There is a lust in her that is telling her she doesn't have value until she exposes her body. And she knows that that body she's exposing is causing commotion wherever she goes. And then when she comes to church, she's acting as if she's covering one tiny handkerchief. Didn't you know what you wore from the house? It's in church you suddenly woke up. Do you know that one of the active sites for hookup now is church? When church closes, they stand by the roadside as if they are looking for lift. And they will carry them, pick a lift and go straight to commit immorality. Because these are agents of seduction. And before you blame the sisters, the men whose eyes cannot be in one place, they sit down, they are looking everywhere. Because there is something in them that they can't contain themselves. Job said, I have a covenant with my eyes. My eyes shall not look upon the virgin. But the guy who has not won the battle of flesh, his eyes are mongering everywhere. So even when the lady is trying to cover her leg, there is a war going on in the soul. And he will not tell himself the truth. He will not tell himself the truth that until he wins that battle, he's a slave. But so long as there's miracle service, prophecy service, you will think that guy is committed to God. He's not. He's trading with the anointing. Even when he's giving, he's not giving. He was told, give, he shall be given unto you. That's a transactional Christian. He's not going anywhere with God. He thinks God is another business platform. And the pastor knows that this is the wolf in sheep clothing. But he needs money to prove that ministry is working. So you will not tell the person the truth that you are in a battle, you are a slave. He wants to just get the money. That's all he's interested in. And so from January to December, is you are blessed, you are lifted, you are glorified, and this glorified person every week is fornicating, compromising in the office, and he will never, his conscience will never prick him, because nobody is telling him that he's a slave. There is a war. There is a war in the soul. The flesh didn't just check out. Before the flesh checked out, he reprogrammed you. And until you utter that programming, believe me, if you like, receive prophecy and get $1 billion job, you are a slave. You are not blessed. You know why? Because when time is accomplished, you will realize that material things mean nothing. He said, what shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and suffers the loss of his soul?